The government got in the way of business in a big way this week as China withheld its approval of Qualcomm's $44 billion takeover of the Dutch company NXP Semiconductors. And the deal, as a result, fell apart. We welcome now Rick Clemmer. He's president and CEO of NXP. Rick, welcome.
Thank you.
So let me start. First of all, is the deal truly dead? Is there any chance it can come back? We've heard from the Chinese government now. They're saying, well, maybe we could extend this and keep looking at it.
Yeah, you know, the transaction's complete. It's ended. We've received the breakup feedback from Qualcomm. We're focused on the future and how we can drive true shareholder value for our shareholders.
Well, and we want to focus on the future and where you're going and where NXP is going. But before we do that, just a moment on the past. What got us to this pass? From your point of view, you were inside it. What really killed this deal? And to what extent do you actually blame Qualcomm because they got CFIUS involved in the Broadcom deal?
Yeah, you know, I think that that had nothing to do with the approval in China. I think could have created a little confusion potentially. There was nothing by the regulations or issues that China could identify that couldn't be resolved associated with the transaction. So it has to be political or some other reason. It's not about the transaction itself.
So to that point, if it's not about this specific transaction, and if it is political, it has to do with trade issues or tariff issues, what does that say about any deal involving semiconductors going forward now? Is there any other deal that would get approval?
You know, I can't answer that question. That's not something that I'm really in a position to really respond to. I think when you think about it, it certainly raises questions. You know, there has been a few transactions that have been approved recently. You know, Bain's purchase of Toshiba as well as Marvell's purchase of Cavium. For some reason, they chose not to approve this transaction. And, you know, for us, it's about how we move forward.
And moving forward, Qualcomm, for example, had legal disputes with Apple and Samsung as well. How's your relationship with them now?
You know, our relationship with Qualcomm is fine. I think it's good. You know, there would have been a huge opportunity to create the semiconductor industry powerhouse going forward, but we don't have that now. So for us, we have a bright future. We're the leading semiconductor supplier into the automotive industry, really focused on bringing technology to make driving safer. We facilitate the ability to drive connected devices, which is going to be 75 billion by 2025, triple what it is today. And we provide that unique technology to go from low-end microcontrollers all the way through applications processors to be able to use the machine learning and artificial intelligence to put it to work.
How much does it help your future that the president actually gave ZTE a lifeline?
Well, you know, ZTE is an important customer for us. You know, last quarter, because the U.S. government had blocked it, we lost about $31 million of potential sales. So it is a significant customer and one that we continue to want to work with.
So you wouldn't have done this Qualcomm deal if you didn't think it was going to grow your company faster, better. Now, that's not going to happen. So how are you going to grow it faster and better? And specifically, what are you going to do with the $5 billion cash that you're walking away with?
Well, we're walking away with $2 billion.
Oh, sorry, $2 billion.
And we're actually repurchasing shares. We announced a share repurchase of about $5 billion. We'll use some of that breakup fee to be able to expand our internal capacity. What we're really focused on is how we drive growth and drive a leadership position in automotive, making driving safer. We're in a unique position to be able to do that. Our leadership across the board in microcontrollers as well as radar solutions really facilitates that and makes driving safer. Our connectivity platforms drives the Internet of Things and the ability to put information to use that, you know, everybody talks about the cloud, but the cloud captures information. You got to be able to put it to use. And our microcontrollers allow you to take that information that comes out of the artificial intelligence and machine learning and put it to use and make it effective.
What happens to those microcontrollers and also the driving revenue if auto tariffs are in fact put in place? Because the Commerce Department is still investigating those auto parts as national security threats.
You know, I don't think it's about a national security threat. It's about, you know, balancing trade. We're hopeful that free trade will be the rule that will come out of this. We think there's more opportunity for it. I think there's still a demand for automotive production. If you look at the growth and where it's really taking place significantly, it's in China and Southeast Asia. So, you know, clearly we think that's going to take place. China is specifically talking about electric vehicles, and we've actually moved some of our technology where we can support a significant share of the electric vehicle market that that we hadn't planned on a couple of years ago. So that offers a significant opportunity for NXP.
Where in your list of strategic possibilities is doing a deal for NXP, a different deal, either as a buyer or a seller? Should we be expecting NXP to be back in the market either as a buyer or a seller?
I think we'll do some acquisitions of tuck-ins that we need for technology to drive solutions. A merger of equals, we did Freescale 3 years or so ago, and that was more of a merger of equals. Qualcomm would have driven a huge industry powerhouse, but we're really focused on how we can drive the future and how we can make a difference for all of our customers.
Well, speaking of driving the future, which may be a pun in some ways when it comes to autonomous vehicles, right? Driving the future, there is a perception, maybe it's wrong, that we need bigger. We need scale to really move into this world. We see this in other industries as there's a disruption because of digital. Is that wrong? Do we not need scale in semiconductors?
I think that it is. It's important to have the technology. The technology is really the critical thing. If you look at the semiconductor content in a car on the average basis, it's going to go up 3x in the next 6 or 7 years. We want to be sure that we can provide those solutions as we are today with the customers to be able to provide that so that they can make cars safer. You don't have as many accidents. You reduce the number of accidents. You reduce the pollution aspects associated with it, and you provide the security to ensure that it's safer.
Okay, so you've worked on this deal for 2 years. There were even rumors that after you clinched this deal, you might retire. So what's next?
I'm very focused on driving this company. I think that we have a bright future. I'm excited about it. We're very focused on that. I'm not going to do this for 10 years. So we'll obviously develop the appropriate succession. But for the next few years, I'm committed to driving this and seeing what we can do. And by the way, so is the entire management team.
So I was at Cap Cities ABC when it got bought by Disney, and I saw what happens internally during that period of time when you're thinking about a deal. And it's really hard to keep your staff focused and really moving forward. How have you done that? Have you succeeded in it? Because as a practical matter, people sort of sit back to find out what's happening.
No, that's absolutely the case. There's deal fatigue. I think our people, our employees were really excited about the opportunity with Qualcomm until the issue with Broadcom came up that created some confusion late last year. And we did see a pause associated with that. So our organization is now re-energized. They were excited when we actually announced that we had clarity about what was going to happen. We had certainty. We know that we've got the technology to be able to be the significant player in the market. And now it's up to us to be able to put it to use and really bring solutions to our customers that will make a difference.